Ron Harris here for MuscularDevelopment.com. Our coverage of the Olympia weekend in Orlando brought to you by High Tech Pharmaceuticals. Joining me is Big Mike Cox. He doesn't have the cool accent like Mishko, but this man is a true historian of the sport like me. We're both older, we've been around a while. So we want to talk about some divisions today. We'll get right to the main one that we had because today we saw Classic Physique, we saw Men's Physique, Bikini, and we just wrapped up Wheelchair. But Classic Physique obviously is the one most of you guys are paying attention to. Bumstead versus Breon. These guys had some beef on stage for one thing. I'm actually surprised Weinberger didn't call them because they were like overlapping, bumping elbows.
That was very entertaining. Sometimes you need a little like spark because it can kind of drag on. But those two guys bumping elbows, and Breon did the classic pose, kind of had his hand was in his face, and Bumstead had that look of annoyance on his face, and it was very entertaining. It was way more entertaining than watching the Men's Physique guys fight last year, a couple years ago. But this was phenomenal, man. These two really go at it.
And Bumstead, Canadians tend to be more nice and polite, but I think Bumstead's finally realizing I can't be that nice anymore. But let's talk physiques. I see Bumstead holding on to the title. I love Breon's physique, but I'm a meathead, so I'm thinking he's got to better this, he's got to better that. But I'm starting to look at it more like Classic Physique is a different set of judging. Bumstead has this wide set of clavicles. He is 6'1" and change, tiny little waist. The structure makes him look so much more impressive. Certain poses he does, like the ab and thigh, Breon can't even touch him on that. Side chest, he's got the big rib cage like Arnold. Breon packs a lot of muscle on his frame, beautiful shape, but I got to give this one to Bumstead.
Like, what classic is when you see it, right? No. We can't define it, but we know when we see it.
That's what they said about pornography years ago.
I'm glad you got the reference, you understood that. But, Breon he's a bodybuilder. He's a bodybuilder competing in classic. There's a lot of guys like this in this division. But Breon is not the qualities that they want for classic. Bumstead's got those wide shoulders. He's tall. He's very classical physique. His front lat spread, which isn't a mandatory pose, is amazing. But it's just they both didn't really improve too much from last year. They both kind of similar, which was a 1-point decision. So I'm thinking it'll be Bumstead again. But you have to follow the guidelines of the class. And I want to see shredded, freaky physiques, but that's not what the class was intended for. Like women's physique, you have to stay within the guidelines of what the class was intended to be.
And I personally think if Breon loses this tonight, which is very likely, I think this is the last time we're ever going to see him as a classic physique. I think he's going to put on a little more mass because he actually put on mass for this show and had to diet a lot of it away to make 180 pounds again. I'm pretty sure he's going to dip out of this, and we're going to see him as a 212 probably next year. Third place, Terrence Rough Diesel Ruffin. Man, this kid got better. So he was runner-up at the Arnold. Beautiful shape, but we always said he just needs to be a little bit bigger and fuller, and he brought that today. Still the same condition. Nobody has a posing style and presentation like him. It's flawless. So he moved up because I believe the best he's ever done at this show was 6th. Yeah. So to go up from 6th to 3rd, a very strong 3rd behind two Olympia champions. You got to be happy, T. Rough Diesel. Come on.
He has the ultimate classic physique. That's small waist, but he knows how to present his physique for this class. He doesn't hit most musculars. He twists his body. He twists his hips. He's reminiscent of Francis Manfado. When he stands there, it's like a work of art, man. And his condition was on point. He looks a lot bigger than what he weighs. When you see him off stage, you're like, that's Terrence Ruffin. But when he gets on stage, stuff happens. And you're happy for him because he's a good dude. But this is how the classic division should look. I was hoping maybe he would get he could pull it off, but I think he's not big enough yet to deal with Bumstead and Breon. But this is a great showing for him.
4th, right now I have the reigning Arnold Classic champion, Alex Cambronero. Looked about the same as the Arnold, but you know what? He looked awesome at the Arnold, so I don't think he had to necessarily get any better. Beautiful shape. He was a 212 champ. Didn't have to change much from his 212 days to this, but very solid 4th place.
Alex is very consistent. He's going to come in shape. He's going to have great proportions, great symmetry. He's in 4th place, I think. Battling Brian, I forgot his last name. Brian Jones. So we're going to see how that plays out. But that Brian Jones kid, man, he's going to win the show one day. His waist is Brian Buchanan-like, crazy taper, and he poses in a very unique way. kind of like Kai Green.
Yes.
You know, but so I love this guy's look, man. So it's going to be between, Alex and those two for 4th and 5th, but I think Alex is a solid 4th place.
Brian Jones, though, we both Mike and I agree on this. If he adds a little bit more mass, keeps that little waist small, condition maybe a little bit tighter, he could win this. This might be a division where we see the title change hands, just like 212, as you've been saying. We're not going to see a Flex Lewis dominate that, and I don't think we're going to see the same guy dominate Classic for like 3, 4, 5 years or anything like that. It's going to switch hands. But this guy's got a great future. Wow, what a shape. He's another one who's kind of a bumstead structure, but prettier, rounder muscles to him. So he just needs to work a little bit more on those things, and he's going to be pushing this. After that, some standouts. Logan Franklin, he's a little dejected. He posted on Facebook that he got effing smoked, which I wouldn't say he got smoked, but they did leave him out there for a lot of comparisons, which kind of puzzled me.
This isn't the New York Pro. This is the Olympia. You have every freak that you didn't have in New York is here, the best of the best. So, but I think Logan has the look that they want in this class. He's young. He's going to mature. I think when he came out, his condition was really good. But the more he posed, he started to sweat really bad. He started to fade a little bit. But you can kind of tell that this guy is going to be that dude eventually. That Weider cover boy look to him, poses very well. Very classic physique, big legs. He's got very big legs. So it's just a matter of time. Listen, this is the Olympia. People get smoked. It's not for any lack of preparation. It's just you got some better guys, some better physiques, better genetically gifted physiques on that stage. There's some freaks in this division, and they're all conditioned. You wish every division would get like this. Can you imagine the open guys being this crisp? These guys, their stomachs are tiny. They're not blown out. It's a very good look to them. I started off not as a huge fan, but these guys win you over with that like kind of crazy shape and condition.
I have to mention California's Danny Union, originally from Iraq, I believe. I kind of forgot about him, so I apologize, Danny. And the reason I forgot about him is because he qualified for the show last November by winning the Legion Sports. Very, very impressed with him there. I'm sorry I didn't hype you up more for the show. You definitely deserve it. Danny's got incredible shape, tiny waist. Beautiful. This is one pose where he has one bicep out and one arm up in the air. It's one of the best poses in Classic, but nobody else can even try it. They're not going to look good doing it. Also, Wesley Vissers, man, wow. He looks like Arnold in a lot of ways. I think he's about 6'2" or close to it. Crazy upper body, full muscles, thick, just needs some wheels, a little more wheels.
He's very statuesque. That front of a bicep, he hits it so perfectly. And he stands so perfectly that you want him to do well. This is probably the best condition we've seen him in ever. But once his legs come up, forget about it. He's got to get a little bit more. The ham drop's got to get better, thicker hams. Bring a little more like detail to those quads. When that happens, this guy's gonna be winning this title for a few times.
Probably the last guy I want to mention is DeAndre Campbell. He was runner-up to Logan at New York Pro. I thought they were very, very close. I wouldn't have been upset had he beat Logan there. No offense, Logan. He's very good. You guys are all good. And he's just someone who just needs to keep working on the fine details, a little better condition. But man, that guy's gonna be something.
Dude, when he poses, he just comes alive. He looks phenomenal. I thought he had Logan in New York, but he's got such a bright future, man. Like this guy, he's got all the tools he needs to be successful. Again, the condition is just absolutely insane. And when you see him, you're not overwhelmed, by their size. But how he displays that physique, the pose and the arm angles, the hip angles, the feet, it's all very reminiscent of what this division was supposed to be about. So he's just phenomenal athlete.
Men's physique, I'm not going to talk about all 41 of you guys. What that 41? Come on. Should have capped it off at like 25 or something, really. But looks to me like the reigning champion, Raymond Edmonds. Dude, it's been a long day and night. Probably going to keep his title. He's getting pushed pretty hard by Brandon Hendrickson. That's who they're comparing him to, much to the chagrin of Andre Ferguson. But I wouldn't be surprised if he repeats it again.
This class is great because there's so much drama involved in this. When Brandon and Raymond left, he just sprinted to the side and did like he was going out to a pro wrestling ring. It was the most entertaining thing I've ever seen. I knew it was a shot at Andre. Yeah. I knew it was, but you need that in this division. I think Raymond's going to keep his title. But Brandon, I'm not a huge fan of this division, but Brandon looked phenomenal. Yeah. You know what I mean? And there's a lot of guys in this class that are humongous. There's some great backs on here, great delts. And again, these guys are in such great condition. But I think I think Raymond is going to have his title one more time, but Brandon brought it today.
And let me just say, we don't give the guys enough love in men's physique, but we're both very envious of the fact that they're able to build all this upper body mass and have these waists like a 9-year-old Chinese schoolgirl. It's ridiculous, tiny. So Bikini, reigning champ Isa Piccini from Brazil. I don't know if she's going to hold on to it or not. You called that first call out in Bikini the dream team, because man, what do we had? We had Isa Piccini, we had Angelica Teixeira, who's won it I think 3 times. We had Janet Leog, who's incredible. Jennifer Dory from Canada, also amazing. Laura Lee Chapados. There were 6. There's probably another one. But man, Attila Santiago, yeah. And I was surprised that Ashley Kaltwasser didn't even make first call out. And they left Isa Piccini on the side the whole time. I don't know if that meant anything or not, but usually the reigning champ, you put her in the middle at some point. I don't believe they ever put her in the middle.
When she came out, I said that she looked a little muscular. Her legs were a little bit bigger than some of the other girls.
Yeah.
She had a little more muscle than other girls, but you at least give the reigning champ a look in the middle, not just leave them. She wasn't off.
She was on the left the whole time.
The entire time, but there's such contrasting different bodies that it's so hard to kind of figure out what they're doing. But it looks like Angelica may win today with Janet maybe in second. So it'll be interesting to see how it goes. But this title changes hands every couple of years. You know, it's the flavor of the year, so to speak. So it makes it more interesting. But you have somebody like Janet who's been second or third how many times? She's like the Monica Brandt of Bikini.
Weren't there like 40 of them again?
41. 44. No, 44. I'm sorry.
44. Okay, you win, Bikini. You win.
Well, it's you can't give everyone a good look. But it's just so many girls in this division, man.
Head Judge Sandy Williamson, she said to the crowd, "This is the hardest division to judge." And I defy any of you guys to argue against that. And I totally agree. I would never want to judge Bikini. Good God. Okay, and then we wrapped it up with a wheelchair. Harold King Kong Kelly. This is his second Olympia title because they've only had this at the Olympia twice. I believe he already has 5 Arnold Classics. Yeah. Every time they've had it, one of these, he wins. He's got a crazy thick upper body, comes in condition. You know, these other guys work hard, but it's hard to beat someone with great genetics who works hard.
Yeah. It's inspirational because people like to complain that I can't go to the gym, I'm too tired, I'm hurt. These guys are in wheelchairs. They're in wheelchairs dieting for show, which is hard enough in itself. That's just, I can't fathom that, right? So, but Harold Kelly he's like the Ronnie Coleman of this division. You know, he's going to win until someone's got to come in really good to beat him. But he's so broad and big. You know what I mean? He's the champ, man. You know what I mean? These guys are very motivational, man. Like just when you're feeling like, oh, I'm tired, just think of these guys. You know what I mean? I mean,
sometimes somebody should go in a wheelchair in a gym and try to do an entire upper body workout from a wheelchair and see how difficult it is without like somebody helping. Because I've seen some of these guys in videos and they do it on their own. Like Harold, he straps himself down with a weight belt to like everything to hold him in place. Anyway, guys, so tonight we're going to see finals for Classic Physique. We're going to see if Bumstead holds on to his title, which I think he will. We'll see Bikini, and we'll see Men's Physique. And, of course, the Mr. Olympia finals. I know you guys were all waiting to see how that shakes out because, damn, that was a show last night. It went till a little past 12:30 a.m.
Yeah.
Too damn late. The rent is too damn high. But, man, it was a great show. So we'll see how that all comes out. Go to musculardevelopment.com. Please, we have awesome coverage on the play-by-play thread. I've been posting up pictures. Mike's been doing commentary. You can judge for yourself. You can argue and debate with people. We have more videos up on this YouTube channel, interviews and so on, from the great Hector Mendoza, squatting over here behind the counter, flipping me off. And, of course, stage photography by Jason Breeze in the contest gallery. So keep it right here. Coverage brought to you by High Tech Pharmaceuticals. We'll see you tonight.